Would you agree with me that revenge is sweet? Well, I'll admit that I've had those feelings in my life, honestly, more than a few times. You get wronged somehow. Someone insults you profoundly, cheats you maybe, denies you something, your space in line for, literally or figuratively. Anything that kind of makes you mad where you've come out on the short end and you feel strongly enough about it, by golly, at least if you're in my shoes, there's been those times where you just want to get even. And if you manage to succeed in getting even, gosh, that feels good, doesn't it? But how long does that good feeling last? And does that set the stage for the next occasion when we might savor the opportunity to get revenge? And part of that fun might be just thinking about how we're going to pull it off. Revenge is sweet. Or is it? Is revenge sour? Does it possibly set the stage for more hurt than happiness? Do we lose more than we gain when we focus too much on getting even, on getting revenge? Now, there's a difference between seeking justice and seeking revenge. So I'd like to just briefly emphasize that. I'm not suggesting that when we are the victims of harm, that we necessarily ignore it. Sometimes, though, we might just do that because, frankly, it's too minor an issue to warrant the energy that it takes to get justice at times. Those are individual calls, and I think people who think these things through rationally will come up with the right decision on whether it's worth pursuing or just letting go in the first place. Revenge tends to be based more on emotion than rationality. So if we're really angry about something, we're more likely to be focused on getting even, on seeking revenge for that slight. Let me suggest that attitude, that emotion, be a red flag for us, that we begin to think through when we are angry, why we are, and then decide whether that emotion is in of itself enough to warrant further action. And if it does, let it not be revenge, but rather seeking justice in that case, or perhaps just having a heart-to-heart and discussing it with the party that's offended us in the hopes of getting them to come around and dissipate the hard feelings, including the anger if it rises to that level. There's a difference between, again, being victimized constantly and being a doormat. I'm not suggesting that. Or being on a hair trigger for every incident and being just ready to get even because our ego demands that we do that. Check that ego. Be careful. Analyze the situation carefully and decide whether it rises to the level of requiring a response at all, and if so, what kind of response can it be? Understanding, please, that seeking revenge is a rather immature way of going about it, and almost always, despite that momentary high that we're very bound to feel, especially if we're successful in getting our revenge, it's not going to last, and it might just lead to a rebound of hard feelings directed by ourselves on ourselves, maybe even a guilty conscience, things we don't need. Instead, taking the high road in dealing with situations that might invite us or tempt us to seek revenge, taking that high road instead can lead us to not only discovering our growing edge, but also to feeling proud that we handled it in the right way and we set a good example for those who are keeping an eye on us. Whether we know it or not, people are. Think about that today. Thanks.